Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for dialing in. This is just a little quick update on my little adventure in Australia. Now, I know you guys know I was out there for 2 weeks, this first week being personal and the second week being the business end of things. Needless to say, the only reason I went out for a week beforehand was to make sure that I wasn't jet lagged and to make the most of the opportunity I had. But yeah, so no, in all honesty, it was a fantastic opportunity to have. It was good that my secret kitchen / Yaya were happy to pay for that, and I do appreciate that. I very much was aware of the responsibility that was on my shoulders as well. Many of you, thank you, had emailed me some questions and some points you wanted raised, and I did my best to raise them. And also as well, did my best to represent the UK as a whole, and very much enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a challenge, not knowing anyone else bar Charlotte out there, and she was very much occupied in a corporate capacity. But that was good as well, because that forced me to kind of take time and speak to people and that. So, which was a good thing. You know, I was definitely outside my comfort zone, but it was a good thing to do. I had been asked as well to present. There was a piece that we're doing on transitioning from one direct selling company to another. So I had the opportunity to present at that, and which I enjoyed the opportunity to do so. And also as well, it looks as though I'm now getting involved in a committee to kind of help with the how we go about transitioning other direct selling companies from their entity to MSK or Yaya. So yeah, that's something that's a work under progress. All right, so let me kind of talk you through how it all panned out. Okay. So the first day was the director's seminar. Okay, the first 2 days. So that was a week past Saturday and a week past Sunday. I'll backtrack slightly. The day before, I arrived at the Gold Coast the day before. I was picked up by Gina Moore and a few of her team. And so Kristen Kyle, her upline is a lady called Esther Minglas, who is fabulous, I have to say. I really liked her. And above her again is another lady called Gina Moore. Now, Gina was kind enough to pick me up, which was great, from the airport. And she brought me to the warehouse. So I had a chance to meet Becky and Kylie there. I had a chance to meet a few of the other directors as well that were there. I had a chance to have a look around the warehouse as well. I think I put some pictures up on the team page. I did pick up some nice products that we aren't getting just yet in the UK, so they're quite exclusive. So if anybody fancies a little bit of something that everybody else doesn't have, keep an eye out on the page, because I'm going to do some just little challenges and just promotional activity just to see if you guys can be rewarded with those. So yeah, that was the Friday. It was really good. I also met a guy called Brenton Baker. I kept calling him Branston, which is wrong. It's Brenton Baker, and a guy from America, from Ohio. And he works with Longabergers, who's another company who are part of CVSL. And he's going to be involved in organising events from this point onwards. So, which is great. He was a fantastic guy, really funny actually, good guy. He's going to be over for our UK convention in August, and I'm absolutely delighted to hear that, because he was fantastic. He was really good. It was on the ball. Was emceeing the 4 days I was there, and very much I liked him a lot. But his kind of background is kind of the marketing side of things, so he's going to be involved as well. So I met him, met the team, met the guys who packed the boxes and shipped them out in Australia, and met the guys that put together all the pallets of stuff that come across to the UK. I wasn't allowed in, but I got to see because it's a sterile environment, for health and safety reasons and health hygiene reasons. But I got to see where everything was bottled, and all the different new recipes that Colleen puts together. That environment there, the production environment. So which is cool. Okay, then the next day was the director seminar. There's what 25 of us from around the world, predominantly Australian directors who've been with the company for the 5-6 years it's been on the go now. Also as well, I got to meet a lady called Vivian Stark, who was a director in Canada, and me from the UK. So there was a lot of high-level discussion at that about various different aspects of it. The main ones we looked at were the kind of host benefits package, how best to reward hosts, how best to encourage bookings, that kind of thing. So you may see some changes coming down the line. I'm not sure what the timescales are on that yet. One of the things you guys did raise, and I did speak about quite a bit there, was the level of promotional activity. The fact that we have weekly pairings, we've got international days, we've got the monthly travel packs, etc. So they are going to look to simplify that, which is great news, I have to say, because I think a lot of us were feeling rather overwhelmed with it all. So you can look to see some changes come on board with that. So yeah, just kind of watch the space on that one. So they're looking to simplify that because a lot of people were feeling it was just a bit too much. One of the things we did talk about was the use of technology as well in kind of supporting our teams and contacting teams. Obviously, use of webinars, which we're doing now. The use of technology called Zoom, a piece of technology called Zoom, which is very similar to, very similar to Skype, except for with Zoom you can share your screen, and so say for example, if you were, if I wanted to take a new individual from the team and talk them through how to go about submitting a show, I can just share my screen and then walk through the process. So Zoom is a good use of technology there, and it can be used for multiple groups as well. SynShare was an interesting one, actually. SynShare was one of the applications that Shannon Gallagher used. Shannon does all the kind of updates and the kind of promotional pieces, and so that you can actually post to scheduling your post and post to multiple places at the same time. So it was quite a useful little tool. If anybody's interested, wants to have a look at that and is interested, I think what they've set up, SynShare normally costs $10 a month. I think it's US dollars. But they have set up a link that I can pass on to anyone that's interested. And there's a code you can use, and you can use it free for 30 days. So if anybody's interested, look into that, see what you think of it. And if it's something you want to go ahead with, we've set up a code. Yaya have agreed that anybody can use it for free for the first 30 days. Basically, it's described as a social media marketing tool, social media marketing simplified is how they were describing it. Just reading from my notes here. A new support team. As we speak, there is a chap called Chad Seastrand. Chad, I've never met anybody called Chad before. Now, Chad is originally from CVSL, and he has come across to do, he's doing an analysis on efficiencies within Yaya at the Aussie Home Office. And his background is logistics and ops support. So that's where he's going to be playing a greater a role within MSK and Yaya. So looking to make it, and I know many of us will welcome that with regard to logistics and the movement of product and the shipping of products. So yeah, that's something I'll come on to later on. Also as well, there's another guy who's also working with Betterware, and he's going to be involved in the UK operations as well. I'm not quite sure to what level his input will be, or in what capacity, but I know he's on board with the team, which is fantastic. Also as well, Charlotte New, as you know, will be getting skilled up a little bit more. Her capacity will be Global Consultant Support Manager. So she'll oversee the whole global support team, which will include, I think, Becky and Kylie in Australia as well. But that she's kind of getting skilled up on that. Okay? Right, if anybody has any questions, just pop them in, just type them in the question box, and I will try and address them as we go through it, okay? So next up we have, so that was the Saturday. Sunday was the Director's Day, and it was really good. It was very much high-level talking and just plain speaking as well, which is obviously, as many of you know, where I'm concerned, is what I like. From that we went into, on the Monday and Tuesday, we went into Leaders Convention, which is did I put an N in that? Hold on. Oh, I did, yes. Sorry, I was just checking a typo there. So yes, the Leaders Convention, and we will be looking to have one in the UK as well. So this was the Australian version with some of the New Zealand guys coming across. I'll apologise in advance for any moments of silence. What I'm doing here is yawning. I thought I got over the jet lag, but clearly it's just beginning to hit me now in the last kind of 20 minutes or so. Joy, just when I don't need it. Anyway, moving on. So the whole theme of the 4 days really, and Colin explained it again to the leaders, was it's about opportunity, okay, and the fact that there is so much opportunity around there. When I listen to the stories of, and I talk to a lot of people, and I listen to the stories of how they started and the way they started, and the challenges they faced, and what they've built from that. You know, I was very, very much inspired by that. And it's the realization that, you know, it is us that will drive it forward, and it is us that will bring our mindset, our attitude, our consistency, our perseverance, all these things that we bring that will make it what it is. And the opportunity, I've said this from the start, and it's what drew me to MSK in the first instance, and it still reigns true to this day. This company just stinks of opportunity. Absolutely and utterly. I 100% do believe that and continue to believe that. The opportunity lies for me within the fact that it is a good product. It is a good product with a very good business model, with backed up by an exceptionally good career plan. Now, when the end of last year, when I was looking at all the different direct selling opportunities out there and the different entities available, without a shadow of a doubt, the MSK one was, if not the best, is definitely one of the best I saw anyway, and I would almost say it was the best I saw. Also as well, Colleen pointed out the last 5 letters of the word opportunity, and that was about unity and the fact that we're all working together as a team. Those of you that have worked with me before in the past will know how I feel about working as a unit and being a team and pulling together and supporting one another. My job is to lead from the front, but we all collectively have a responsibility to support one another and build a unit and provide the unity and for one another. So that's something that really appealed to me, the fact that the unity is in there. And I know it's a play on words, but I thought it was very relevant. She went on to explain about just a little bit of numbers, that the profits that the company posted in 2014 was 10.7 million. Okay, in 2015 the projected profits were 14 million, so a growth of just over 3 million from the previous year. The actual records and the reports submitted for 2015 showed us that we actually grew to 23 million. Okay, so that is a phenomenal. So 1.3, well, not quite 1.3, but yeah, 12.3 million. So we more than doubled across 2015, and that is phenomenal. And again, it points back to the opportunity. Okay, when you hear that the guys in Australia built their business. Now, I was actually, while I was away, sidetrack slightly, while I was away, my husband took the kids to the library, and my son decided he'd pull out a fact book. He loves a wee fact book, and took out a book about Australia. And we were reading it last night, and it actually showed where the population lay in Australia. Okay, so if you look down the east coast of Australia, that's where something like 70% of the population of Australia live. You've got some in Darwin, some in Cairns, and anyway, just and down around the south bit, around Melbourne and Adelaide. But the bit in the middle is pretty much empty, for want of a word. Now, if you look at the size of Australia, and if you look at the population of Australia, and the fact that there's something like 20-something million people in Australia, which I was flummoxed at, I have to say, and what they have grown it to be, based on the fact that, you know, they're pretty much caught up in localized business, and the percentage of people there. And then you look at the UK and Northern Ireland, and that's only looking at the UK and Northern Ireland for now. And what, 50-something million is it? Have we hit 60 million? What a phenomenal opportunity we have. Absolutely and utterly phenomenal opportunity. We can be the ones growing these businesses. Ladies I was speaking to that were bringing in, their average monthly income was like between 10 and 12 grand per month. Yeah, I think it's fantastic, and that's even before we get Flavour Stacks off the ground. Now, I know Flavour Stacks is a sweary word for some of you right now, and they know they've got that wrong, and they're working to fix that as best they can. But in a nutshell, quite simply, if Flavour Stacks took off far in excess of what they expected, and they literally are struggling to keep up with the production of it, and that's why we're in the situation we are. I know it's a poor excuse, and I'm hoping this Chad guy is going to see that and say, right, okay, hold on, we need to do something about this. But yeah, like I said, comparing the Australian market to the potential within the UK market, I think is phenomenal. And I particularly quite like this quote here: opportunity dances with those on the dance floor. Now, those of you that have ever gone to a conference or a night out with me know how much I enjoy a wee boogie, given my dodgy knees and everything. So I'm certainly on the dance floor, yeah, I'm up for building that again. Okay. Again, not many questions coming through, but feel free to pop them up if you want to, okay? At the Leaders Convention, now this is something I will be, I'm going to try and write a training on this one, heaven help me. And so when I'm on the road, and the Edinburgh meeting as well beforehand, the week of the 14th, I'm hoping to see as many of you as I possibly can. If you can't make it, please do see if you can Skype into a local, to one of the meetings. We had a presentation from a lady called Lisa Chow. She was from Hong Kong. She ran a company called Content Maximizer. And what she was doing, she ran a little training session with us on how to make your own videos. Little videos that you can pop up on your Facebook page or that kind of thing, or if you manage your own website. Yeah, so right, just a little bit of stats here. I can't find my glasses. So basically it says here that the number of hours people are watching on YouTube each month is up 50% year on year, okay? And that every minute 300 hours of video are uploaded onto YouTube, okay? Half of YouTube viewers are on their mobile devices, and the prediction is by 2019 80% of all consumer internet traffic will be video traffic. So you know, it's all well and good putting up posts and recipes and pretty pictures on Facebook, but videos are going to be the way to go. How many times have you clicked on a video yourself thinking, oh, that looks interesting, I'll click on that? So she gave us some top tips on how to create videos and all the rest, and then set us off with the challenge of going off to create videos ourselves using just whatever device you had. I will look to put together a training and deliver that as I go on my merry way the week of the 14th of March. So I'm planning on being in Lancashire on the first night, second day kind of down around Oxfordshire or even further south, I'm not sure, depending on where people are and are available. Then on the Wednesday lunchtime, I'm up at Susan Nichols in Leicester. Got a tasting on Wednesday night. With a friend of mine en route on the Wednesday night. Thursday, there's a lot of team in the Yorkshire area, so I need to, I think we were talking about Wetherby, so happy to do an afternoon and an evening if needs be there, and then back up the road on Friday where possible. Yeah, clearly, so I'm hoping to to give you all guys, some of you guys that can make it along, a bit of a training on that. Okay. I like Verona Peace just made a comment here. My comfort zone is about to take a beating. I presume that you're talking about making your own videos, Verona. Yeah, it is. It is. But you know, that's what it's all about. It's all about growth, and it's all about figuring out how best to use the technology available to us. So I was really pleased. I really felt the training we were getting was very much on point, and it was very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Not trendy, on trend. Yeah, it's forward thinking. It's just looking ahead and saying, oh, what do we need to be doing? And we are in a very dynamic industry, and I think a very dynamic. We are in a very dynamic company, and I like the fact that we're doing, doing things like live streams and being taught how to do these videos, etc. I really thought it was fantastic. Okay, so moving on then, just a quick talk, some of the things that you'll find out more about as I roll this out. Melissa Roberts and Gina Moore put together this structure for helping us help you guys who want to develop as leaders, which I really liked. It was very straightforward and simple, but sometimes it's in the simplicity that the great things happen. More on that later. Ali Brown did, and I know we have an Ali Brown on our own team, but this is the Aussie Ali Brown. She did a little piece on Wonder Woman. Now, I'm not actually going to say an awful lot about that, but yeah, watch the space on that one. And she said her catchphrase for the last while and kind of overcoming the struggles and difficulties she's had, both personally and professionally, she says, I can and I will. Watch me. And I like that, the simplicity of that. And I like what she had to say. Alison Johnston stood up as well and talked, and she was talking about the fact that she came from, I think it was an Aussie company, it was Undercover Wear it was called or something, but anyway, she says she was the knicker lady, they sold underwear, okay? And she talked about the fact that she really struggled when had been a massive change in the organizational structure of Undercover Wear, and she made the decision to leave and brought some of her team with her. And then 4 months after she'd left, the company folded. Anyway, so she was probably in a good position because of the fact she'd moved earlier. However, she found the difficulties she found in kind of coming from a large, corporate, slick, well-oiled organization that had been established for several years to come to a new fledgling company. I think that was what it would have been 4 years ago. And how she came about doing it and how she grew it, and she's now a director with the company, and yeah, just her struggles her stories were fantastic. Okay, I'll be picking up bits of that and letting you know about it as we go through. Another thing as well, just to let you know as well, there's a new mini cookbook. If you go and look at the product launch as well, you'll have seen it already. There's a new mini cookbook that's going to go in the kit with. Are you still there? Yes, you are. Yes, good. Sorry, I'll change there. Hold on, back up. Yes, the mini cookbook, and so it's to go in with the kit and for all new kits, which is great. It's a really good little cookbook. It's for consultants only, really, at the moment. They're looking to produce a little one as well that can be sold to customers and guests, but that's further down the line. So yeah, I'll be bringing those around with me as well on my travels, so you'll get to see them. Okay. 19 new products going in the catalogue. Rake chocolate powders, some absolutely fabulous ones. I'm sitting here looking here. I'm actually drinking my hibiscus tea. Says she with a slurp. Those of you that know me know my addiction to coffee and how I love my coffee. However, and I'm not really a tea drinker, and I will have the odd cup of Earl Grey, but I have to say this Hawaiian hibiscus tea is absolutely gorgeous, without a shadow of a doubt. It's actually made from white peonies, okay? Organic white peony tea. Absolutely lush, I have to say, really like it. Um, uh, the directors that the leaders that were here, my leaders day, I sent them off with little samples of products that weren't in the catalogue. Two of those actually are now going to be in there as of tomorrow, the chili chocolate and the pumpkin pie. I know the pumpkin pie went into my kids' pancakes on Pancake Tuesday, and I ended up having to make 2 batches of it. They're so popular. Um, uh, my favourite, I think, will be the Nomad meat rub. When I did the tasting in Brisbane, MSK had sent out, the Yaya Home Office had sent me out some products that were lying around the office that I could use, one of which was the Nomad meat rub. Oh my giddy aunt, I must have sold about 8 of them that night. All I did was toss some of that with some chicken and I baked that in the oven, because normally I would have done Sri Lankan, but I won't be doing Sri Lankan from this point on. I'll be doing Nomad. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. So I guess my kids will be having later this week. And the other one I like as well is the chocolate pomegranate truffle. Not as strong as the chocolate raspberry truffle, but delicious nonetheless. So you'll be seeing some of those, and those new products will be shipped out as well, those mystery kits as well. Also, what I'm chasing up as well is what's happening with remember the 4 shows in January, and you were going to get 4 products, so I'm chasing that up as well. And the new catalogue. Those that were at Leaders and Directors Retreat in Australia that I've kept in touch with since I got back have all been raving about the Laksa. So I'm keen to give that a lash myself now once I get my chance. Okay, other points of note. I'm just conscious of the time. Yeah, Charlotte has offered to do a review of the back office and is looking to streamline that. I am looking to help her with that. I appreciate not everybody, people have found it a bit of a challenge trying to find things. So we'll be looking to do that. Charlotte definitely is, and I'll happily help her. There's a newsletter called Inspired that used to be once upon a time, and with the fast growth that the company experienced in 2015, I think that kind of lapsed somewhat. So the plan is to get that reinstated. I don't know what the content is, but just worth bearing in mind. What else to learn? With the closure of, like for example, a Jamie at Home and Pamper Chef in the UK and other companies worldwide, it made CVSL, who are the company that own Yaya and MSK as sister companies, that made them really look at those organisations and their profitability and why they fell by the by. One of the reasons being the fact that corporate spending was a little bit out of check and running amok in some instances, I believe. Don't know all the detail. So what the net result of that is the fact that CVSL do keep a tight rein on spending. Okay, so as a result, a lot of people have been saying we do need more people in the Home Office, and I'm hoping this Chad guy is going to see that when he's there, because I do believe he's a CVSL representative, because the people that are there are working flat out. Okay. Everybody is just really going flat out, doing the best they can in the time frame they're able to do so. And so it's not from lack of trying that things are challenging from time to time. And there's a general collective will and wish to sort things and get things working a lot more smoothly than they currently are. We do need more resourcing, and that is basically the bottom line. Is it's a resourcing issue that's causing a lot of the trouble. Also, as well, with regards to the back office, I believe my understanding is CVSL have a kind of a global back office software product that they now want to launch in due course to all of the different companies under their umbrella, because they have several direct selling companies. So it's worth bearing that in mind, that bigger and better things are coming down the line. However, in the meantime, that's not necessarily enough of a reason to just stand still with what we have. The company called iMatrix are the ones that do the IT development in the back office, and they've been tasked with various improvements to the back office, to reporting, to various sizes and states of back office for us. And I'm actually quite keen to get involved in that if I can in any shape or form, because that's my background, is the kind of project management of IT solutions. So I'm thinking of kind of offering my services there to help out with that in some shape, manner or means. So yeah, just thought I'd flag that up to you. So hopefully that will explain a little bit. I know there's a lot of people are troubled with a few aspects of that, but it's not through lack of commitment or care on MSK or Yaya's part, and everybody is working flat out to do the best they can. The net result of that, I do think, is that a lot of people are working in reactive mode. I'd like us to get to a position where we're working more in proactive mode, because in reactive mode, every now and again, one of the plates that was spinning sometimes gets dropped. Yeah, I am pinning a lot on our American friend called Chad. Other things I liked as well. The meeting with the leaders, a lot of stories to tell. Melissa Roberts was the first consultant who was out doing tastings, the very first tastings. Okay, she's our upline. And she was one of the, if not the first consultant. She went out doing her first show. She didn't even have a catalogue. It was only up until a year ago that people were actually, or maybe a year and a half ago, people were actually submitting spreadsheets. So Excel was their friend, and they submitted they didn't have a back office. You just submitted a spreadsheet with your sales, whatever the order was, on a spreadsheet. And just to see how people have grown it from there. Esther Mingles, like I said, who is Kristen Kyle's upline, and I might actually ask her to come on one of the webinars and tell her story, because I found it quite interesting how she started off. She was with a previous company, and I can't remember if that company folded or she made the decision to leave, but she left and she joined Yaya, and didn't bring any team with her, and left a large team behind her. Didn't bring any team with her and grew it from scratch. And it took her 6 months to promote to director. She grew and grew and grew at a phenomenal rate. So I want to hear more of her story. I found what I did hear was quite inspiring, and I want to hear more of it. So I will be asking these people to kind of perhaps do a piece and share their stories on the team webinars. Okay, I'm getting a dry throat now. Must be time to shut up soon. What time are we? 5 past. Okay, yeah, just to say it right, one of the things I liked as well, we may at times have felt as though MSK was the poor cousin of Yaya, and we often got forgotten with just time zones or promotional activity or whatever. There's been times when we have to go, hold on a second here, let's wave the MSK flag. What I was delighted with, and I actually commented on it to Colleen as well, every single slide that was used up on stage had My Secret Kitchen on one side and Yaya on the other, okay, and Your Inspiration at Home. Every single one. We were given little, pardon me, we were given little gifts, like products that were specially designed for the convention, which I'm hoping we kind of get in the UK too, maybe. It's a bit, the table gifts, others may have received in other companies before, but these table gifts it was MSK and Yaya right across the board. It actually had our MSK blue and white theme to it, rather than the brown and yellow, brown and cream ones for Yaya, which I thought was quite interesting as well. So I really like that, and I definitely feel that everybody's sitting up and taking note of the UK market. Everyone is very keen to make it work, because we're the kind of the first footfall in Europe, and on which the rest of Europe will be built. There's a couple of other exciting bits of news which Colleen told me in confidence, and I'm not allowed to speak about, but it does fill me with an amazing amount of excitement for what's coming down the line this year. It's worth knowing the MSK website is under development. I was invited to submit what I thought were my own requirements, or what I thought the general requirements of a website would be. So I've been invited to submit that, which I have. And the other point I just jotted down here, I found out as well that with regards to the incentive trip, that if you do achieve it, and for whatever reason that you can't attend, you can actually choose to take a technology bonus. And what that is a cash payment that they will give you to pay for a laptop or a piece of digital equipment or a technical electronic equipment that you can use in your business, I believe. So I quite like that, and I just thought it worth a mention here. Okay, all right. I was on a plane home, and I'd watched about 20 million movies, and I'd read 2 books back to back on my Kindle, and I picked up the in-flight brochure, and there was all sorts of different bits in it. In one section, there was a business article, and where Bill Gates was being interviewed, and I took a picture of this particular paragraph, and I thought it couldn't have been more relevant. And what this was saying was that if you want to grow, be part of a company that has growing pains. It's a company that's going places, and embrace the growing pains. Now, if anybody knows how to grow a company, I'd say Bill Gates is one of them, in my humble opinion. So I just thought, I just took a picture of it. I liked it. I thought it was very, very apt, and for where we're all at now. We are having growing pains, there's no doubt about it. But like the previous quote I used, and you know I like a wee quote, it's about being on the dance floor, and I've got both feet firmly on the dance floor. I'm inviting everybody, come and join me on the dance floor, and it will be a party, it will be fun, we will have a laugh together. I genuinely feel, like I said, we are in the right place, this is the right place, the right time, we are having growing pains, but it's down to consistency, persistence, and attitude as to how we get through those, okay? We can spend all our forevers looking at yesterday and whatever, but I think we're in a good position. The analogy I was going to use, based on something, Esther Mingles did a presentation, and she talked about the fact that and this follows on from a conversation I mentioned at the last webinar about a comment Sally Ann Wilson had made about not seeing her previous company as and this is a replacement. She said, no, MSK is a brand new start. You know, Esther used the analogy of finishing one book and starting the first chapter in a new book. I like that analogy about the books, and I was thinking to myself, you know, we read a book and we enjoy the characters, we enjoy the plot. There'll be people we like, people we don't like in the book, characters. The storyline may or may not enthrall us, who knows, and we don't necessarily know whether or not we're going to like the ending until we've read it. But when we have read it, we close the book, and we either give it back to the library. If it's a library loan, we stick it on our bookshelf if it's their own book. If it's one we recommend, you know, we might pass it on to somebody else. And then we pick up another book and start again and start reading again. New characters, new plot. There are no characters from the previous book in the new book, in all honesty. And I don't think we should be looking for any of the characters from the previous book to be in the new book. And the only thing that joins the two books is the fact that they're being read by the same reader. So, yeah, that analogy works well for me in my head. I hope it does for you guys. At this point, that's kind of finishing what I wanted to say. I've kind of run over the half hour. I do apologize. Does anybody have any comments or questions they'd like to ask or comments they'd like to make at this point? You've all been very quiet. Please feel free to type them up. Verona says she's listening intently. Thank you, Verona. I hope you found it useful. If any of the rest of you have any comments as well, I genuinely would welcome them. Do I have a nice tan, says Uta? No, darling, because when I was the first week I was there, I was slathering on the factor 50 because the sun was so strong I didn't want to burn. And then the second week I didn't really see that much sunshine because the days were full on. They were kind of 9 till 6. You'd finish at 6 and then the evening event started at 7. So it was a it was a bit crazy. Anne-Marie's saying, good to hear so much about both the products and the people. Yeah, the people really amaze me. I really was impressed by what they had achieved. And then when I see what they had achieved with the population they had, and you look at the population we have, again, it stinks of, and I mean stinks of opportunity. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions that you guys had prior to me going, especially if you emailed me and you feel I didn't answer it adequately? Please, please do let me know. Have you all found out where the local meeting to you is and if you can make it? Or if not, if you can actually dial in on Skype? Okay, it's all gone quiet. If you'd rather speak rather than write up a question, please raise your hand and I can unmute you. These webinars are set up that everybody's automatically muted. Fiona, Linda and Uta, your hands are up already from previous questions, but so if you want to actually speak, take down your hand and then put it back up again if you want. Okay. All right, if that's the case, then what I'll do is I'll bring the webinar to a close then. Tara says she's looking forward to the meeting on the 9th. Tara, I'm really looking forward to meeting you too. So I'm glad you can make it along. That was cool. That worked out for you date-wise. So again, if there's anything you want covered at the meeting as well, please don't hesitate. I will have the new products. I will be doing tastings with the new products. So you'll have a chance to get your laughing gear around them. And this is a team effort, guys. We're all pulling together. I'm doing my best to lead. As is always the case with these things, I can only ever do the best I can based on interaction with you guys as well. So do keep talking to me, and every single person in this team has the ability to pick up the phone, email me, text me, message me, whatever you need to do. But I want to hear from you. If it's something you're struggling with, I want to hear about it, because if I don't know, I can't fix it. I can't guarantee I'll always be able to fix it, but I'll do my utmost where possible. So do be aware of that. This isn't the kind of company, I'm not chasing people. I'm not going to be down your neck. I'm not going to be asking, do you want a call? It is, the responsibility is, it lies on both our shoulders. I'll do my best to represent the whole of our Spice Girls and Boys team to the rest of the company, and make sure our voice is heard. But let your voice be heard within that too. Okay, and let's start this new chapter with the new characters, the new storyline, and let's write our own book, and let's write the ending that we want. Okay. On this note, I'll bid you all good night. Thank you for your time. I do really appreciate you taking the time to see that. The UK catalogue. Oh, yes, I knew there was something I forgot to miss. Fiona says she's looking forward to getting the new catalogue. Yes, at the moment, the catalogues will be shipped out, I believe, next week. Either this week or next week, I'm not 100% sure. Charlotte's just back in the UK and struggling big time with jet lag herself. She only got in yesterday, or either yesterday or the early hours this morning, I'm not sure. So if you need to, go and find the flyers on the new page that you can print off. Okay, they're on where they are on the printable versions on the back office. There's a link. Pauline, I know, put a link up on the team page with those. So go and download them, stick them into your catalogue. If you want to get your glue stick out and glue the two blue pages together, and it's absolutely fine. I actually fell into the trap of going back to the old chapter and the old characters, and I was saying, well, if the catalogue's out the 1st of March, Colleen, we should have the catalogues. And she said, well, what are you going to do with the old catalogues? And to which I said, well, the old catalogues are no longer valid. She says, of course they're valid. She said, the one thing I hated when I was in direct selling was the amount of catalogues I would have to throw out at the end of a season. I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity of just updating the ones they have until they're ready to buy new ones. She said, I hate the waste, and it's just an absolute nightmare. So she said, use the inserts, it's absolutely fine. So I really like that, because how many catalogues I've thrown out in the past, I dread to think. So use the ones you have, use the inserts, at whatever point you deem appropriate, order up the new ones, but there's no reason that you can't use the current ones. 2 black lines through the green pages if you want, the blue pages if you want, and then put a post-it in the vinegar page saying add £1 to the price and insert. Your choice, but very straightforward. Okay, that's it. Good night. Sleep well. I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible on the week of the 14th and also in Edinburgh on the 9th. Please encourage, I'll put up this on the team page, please encourage your teams to listen to it, or if you have a an MSK buddy, please encourage them to have a listen to this as well. Good night, guys. I hope to speak to you all in due course, and yeah, that's it.